Hello, future doctors and biologists. Welcome to a fascinating journey into the world of NEET biology. Today, we are diving deep into biomolecules, specifically focusing on nucleic acids. These incredible molecules are the very essence of life, carrying the instructions that make you, well, you. We'll explore their secrets step by step, from easy fundamentals to the most challenging competitive insights. Get ready to unlock the blueprint of life. Ready to start simple? Let's begin our exploration of nucleic acids by understanding their basic structure and function. It's easier than you think. So, what exactly are nucleic acids? They are fundamental biomolecules, crucial for every living organism. They act as the carriers of genetic information and are vital for protein synthesis. Think of them as the operating system and instruction manual for all life. They're built from smaller units called nucleotides. These nucleotides are like the individual letters that form the genetic language. They're absolutely essential for how life functions, guiding everything from growth to heredity. Every nucleotide, the basic building block, is made of three key components: a nitrogenous base, a pentose sugar, and a phosphate group. The nitrogenous bases are like the actual information carriers, while the sugar and phosphate form the structural backbone. We have two main types of nucleic acids: DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, which stores and transmits your genetic blueprint, and RNA, or ribonucleic acid, which helps translate that blueprint into functional proteins. For example, your unique traits, like eye color, are encoded in your DNA, and RNA helps express them. Now, let's test your understanding of the basics. Try to answer these three questions. First, what are the three main components of a nucleotide? Second, can you name the two primary types of nucleic acids? And finally, which of these nucleic acids is primarily responsible for storing genetic information? Pause here, think about it, and see if you can recall the answers from what we just discussed. Great job with the basics. Now, let's move a step further and delve into the more detailed structures and functions of nucleic acids. Get ready for some deeper insights. Let's break down the nucleotide structure even further. The nitrogenous bases come in two forms: purines, which are double-ring structures like adenine and guanine, and pyrimidines, which are single-ring structures like cytosine, thymine, and uracil. The pentose sugar is either deoxyribose in DNA or ribose in RNA, differing by just one oxygen atom. The phosphate group then links these units. These individual nucleotides join together through special phosphodiester bonds, forming long polynucleotide chains that have a distinct 5 and 3 end, creating the backbone of our genetic material. It's crucial to understand the distinct differences between DNA and RNA. DNA typically has deoxyribose sugar and uses thymine, is usually double-stranded, and is incredibly stable, acting as the permanent genetic archive. RNA, on the other hand, contains ribose sugar and uracil, is generally single-stranded, and is less stable, serving as a temporary messenger and versatile worker. These differences are fundamental to their distinct roles in the cell, from long-term information storage to active protein synthesis. At the heart of molecular biology is the central dogma, a fundamental concept explaining how genetic information flows. It states that information flows from DNA to RNA and then to protein. First, DNA can replicate itself to make identical copies. Then, through transcription, the DNA's genetic message is copied into an RNA molecule. Finally, during translation, this RNA message is used to synthesize specific proteins. This elegant flow ensures that the genetic blueprint is accurately interpreted and expressed to build and maintain all living organisms. Time to challenge yourself with some medium-level questions. First, differentiate between purines and pyrimidines, giving examples. Second, what type of bond links nucleotides, and how is it formed? Third, list three structural differences between DNA and RNA. Fourth, explain the central dogma. And fifth, if a DNA strand is 5-ATGC3, what's the complementary RNA sequence? Take your time to formulate your answers. Excellent work so far. Now, let's elevate our understanding and explore the intricate details and advanced concepts of nucleic acids. This section will challenge your analytical skills. The DNA double helix, a masterpiece of molecular architecture, was famously discovered by Watson and Crick. It consists of two antiparallel polynucleotide strands, meaning they run in opposite 5-3 directions. The nitrogenous bases pair specifically, adenine with thymine via 2 hydrogen bonds, and guanine with cytosine via 3 hydrogen bonds. This is known as Chargaff's rules. These base pairs form the rungs of the ladder, while the sugar phosphate backbone forms the rails, all coiled into a stable right-handed helix. This specific structure is absolutely critical for DNA's function in storing and transmitting genetic information accurately. Beyond DNA, RNA molecules are incredibly diverse and perform a wide array of functions. Messenger RNA, or mRNA, carries the genetic code from DNA to the ribosomes. Ribosomal RNA, rRNA, forms the structural and catalytic core of ribosomes, the protein synthesis factories. Transfer RNA, tRNA, acts as an adapter, bringing specific amino acids to the ribosome based on the mRNA code. We also have smaller RNAs like snRNA involved in splicing and miRNA and cRNA, which play crucial roles in regulating gene expression by silencing specific genes. Each type of RNA is finely tuned for its specific cellular role. The stability of nucleic acids is not accidental, it's influenced by several key factors. The more GC base pairs a DNA molecule has, the more stable it is due to their 3 hydrogen bonds compared to the 2 in AT pairs. Stacking interactions between adjacent base pairs also significantly contribute to stability. Extreme pH levels or high temperatures can disrupt these hydrogen bonds, leading to denaturation, where the DNA strands separate. The melting temperature, or TM, is a measure of this stability. Additionally, the presence of ions like magnesium helps stabilize the negatively charged phosphate backbone, further contributing to the overall integrity of the nucleic acid structure. Now, for some hard-level questions to solidify your knowledge. Describe the key features of the DNA double helix. Explain Chargaff's rules. Distinguish the primary functions of mRNA, tRNA, and rRNA. Why is GC-rich DNA more stable? How do pH and temperature affect DNA stability? If DNA has 20% guanine, what are the percentages of A, C, and T? And finally, name an RNA molecule known for its catalytic activity. Challenge yourself to provide detailed answers. You've tackled the hard challenges, and now it's time for the ultimate test. Welcome to the hardest level, where we'll delve into the most complex mechanisms, competitive depth, and cutting-edge insights of nucleic acids. Prepare to think like a scientist and connect advanced concepts. DNA replication is a marvel of molecular biology, ensuring that genetic information is faithfully passed from one generation of cells to the next. This process is semi-conservative, meaning each new DNA molecule contains one original and one newly synthesized strand. It begins with DNA helicase unwinding the helix, forming replication forks. DNA polymerase then synthesizes new strands in a 5-3 direction, creating a continuous leading strand and a discontinuous lagging strand with Okazaki fragments. DNA ligase then seals these fragments. Critically, DNA polymerase also possesses proofreading capabilities, minimizing errors and maintaining the integrity of our genetic code. Transcription is the intricate process of converting DNA's genetic message into an RNA molecule. RNA polymerase orchestrates this by binding to a promoter region on the DNA, unwinding it, and then synthesizing a complementary RNA strand. In eukaryotes, this initial RNA, called preMRNA, undergoes crucial post-transcriptional modifications. A 5' cap is added, a poly-A tail is attached to the 3' and non-coding introns are meticulously spliced out, leaving only the coding exons. These modifications are essential for the mRNA stability, transport, and efficient translation into protein, ensuring the genetic message is accurately prepared for its next stage. Translation is where the genetic code truly comes to life, converting the mRNA sequence into a functional protein. This complex process occurs on ribosomes, which act as the cellular protein synthesis factories. mRNA carries the instructions in the form of 3 nucleotide units called codons. Transfer RNA, or tRNA, acts as a molecular bridge, each carrying a specific amino acid and possessing an anticodon that precisely matches an mRNA codon. The ribosome moves along the mRNA, facilitating the binding of trinas and forming peptide bonds between successive amino acids, thereby elongating the polypeptide chain. The process culminates when a stop codon is reached, signaling the release of the completed protein. This intricate dance of molecules ensures the accurate and efficient production of every protein in the cell. The genetic code itself is a universal language of life. It's a triplet code, meaning 3 nucleotides, called a codon, specify one amino acid. It's degenerate, with most amino acids having multiple codons, providing a buffer against mutations. Yet, it's unambiguous, as each codon specifies only one amino acid. The code is non-overlapping and universal across almost all life forms, highlighting our shared evolutionary history. Furthermore, the regulation of gene expression is paramount. In prokaryotes, operons like the lac operon control gene clusters. Eukaryotes employ far more sophisticated mechanisms, from chromatin remodeling and transcriptional factors to post-transcriptional, translational, and post-translational controls, ensuring precise protein production essential for development and cellular function. Now, let's apply our advanced knowledge to these challenging questions. First, describe the semi-conservative nature of DNA replication. Second, compare the roles of DNA and RNA polymerase. Third, outline the key steps of eukaryotic transcription, including post-transcriptional modifications. Fourth, explain the degeneracy of the genetic code and its benefits. And fifth, what's the impact if a codon changes from UGU to UGC or to UGA? Think critically and provide comprehensive answers. Continuing with our hardest questions, sixth, discuss the coordinated roles of mRNA, tRNA, and ribosomes during translation. Seventh, how does gene expression regulation differ between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Eighth, explain how DNA fingerprinting uses nucleic acid variations. Ninth, what's the principle behind mRNA vaccines? And finally, discuss the potential impact of CRISPR-Cas9 on genetic diseases, including its ethical considerations. These questions require a deep understanding and ability to synthesize information. You've successfully navigated the complex world of nucleic acids, from their basic building blocks to their intricate roles in replication, transcription, and translation, even exploring their clinical applications. You've mastered a crucial topic for NEET biology. Keep practicing, keep learning, and remember that consistent effort leads to success. For more such engaging and comprehensive educational content, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for regular updates and to stay ahead in your NEET preparation. See you in the next session.